Sitting here for dinner and hearing the conversations and talking with everyone, it's just been reaffirming in how important what we do is and how important our time together is. And like I said the other night, even if it happens to be once a year, this once a year is something that we look forward to. This reconnection, this, coming home, and whatever that location is. This time we're in Tallahassee, we were in Alaska at one point. It's just wherever it is, this body becomes our home. And I say that with 100% sincerity and wholehearted honesty. I've had that feeling the entire time I've been in the MFP program, and I'm so grateful for it. And I say it out loud because I think it's important when we feel gratitude that we express it. I think a lot of times it's very easy to express frustration, or it's very easy to express anger. We don't always express gratitude, and I feel like it's important that we do. So I'm grateful for the time, I'm grateful for the opportunity, I'm grateful for all of you being here. I'm grateful to those that have come before us and are more seasoned, as Janet said. And I'm grateful to the new people that are joining us because, just like I've had my time, they'll have their time, and I'm hoping that it will continue on long after, and I'll be someone seasoned one day too. So that's some of what it means to me, but it would be really important for me and for us, for our discussion, to talk a bit about what does it mean for you? What is the takeaway from the conversations today?
Being here has been very rewarding to see how the program has grown and how the mentoring is taking place. It's just a beautiful thing that people are able to, as you graduate and become an alum, to give back. And that is what we're meant to do.
This was the first time I've ever been in an academic setting with a group of minorities. I've never had that experience. From kindergarten through my pre-doc program, I've never had the experience of being in a room full of people that get it, and I don't have to explain it. So that was powerful. I'm not gonna cry. And I'm very, just thankful and grateful for the opportunity to learn and to grow. I was very nervous about coming here and didn't know if I had anything I could offer, but just was really ready to receive. And so I'm grateful and I'm thankful for this opportunity. I don't get this, I will be very sad to go back to Portland, Oregon, where they look at me like I have two heads because they don't see black people enough. But I'm excited to know that I will have you all as contacts and connections, and I need to get some more Twitter information and make sure I follow up and do that. And I'm excited to be a part of the alumni and to see what I can add and how I can help.
Although we are strong people of color, professionals, and we have commonalities, and it's just good to come to a space where you can relax, you can share, you're not afraid. And I think in my role where I work at Vanderbilt, I create spaces for students all the time, but the Ethnic Minority Fellowship creates spaces for us. And I'm like, ding dong, why not, And so since I'm being recorded, I'm going on record to say that I'm committed to help carry the vision forward. So Dr. Bradley and I are back from our hiatus.
I had the honor and the privilege 3 years ago to establish the first center for Indigenous nursing research for health equity. There's no other Indigenous or Native nurse-led research center in the world. And so I feel like I gained the being able to be equipped to do this role because of the fellowship. And what I would like to hopefully see and to be able to develop and to continue to develop, I should say, is this close partnership between our center and the fellowship. And we would love to be able to bring more Native nurses into the fellowship and have them work with us with our center, and then even postdocs afterwards. And so with some of the work we're doing, and not just Native nurses but others, who are minority and who would benefit from the program, and working with us and seeing what we do as far as research.
When I came into the program, I came kicking and screaming because I was a really good clinician and I loved what I did. But I knew that part of what I did could be more effective because there were questions. So I toured around from the time I got out of my master's program to doing a doctorate, and then I put it away. And I suffered a really big loss. And at the time I suffered that loss, Dr. Hattie Besant said, you need to go to graduate school and get your doctorate. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm happy where I am. She suggested very strongly that I do it, and I did it. And I've never looked back. I am really happy that she did that for me. But I want to say that the program had to grow because, as Dr. Jones said last night, it was a concept and it was a vision, but it had bones, but it didn't have any meat. And I think what is happening now is there's meat on those bones. So there's some structure there, and we're growing and we're learning more and more how best to meet the needs of the fellows that we work with, and to build the kind of environment that is one that is nurturing, compassionate, not everybody do what they want to do, because we say like this is not Burger King, you can't have it your way. There are some things that you have to do, but it's done with compassion and love, nurturing and care.
I'm one of the fellows from, I think it was 1995. I think I remember Dr. Lowe was in my program, and Irma, who I met yesterday. We did have a program. We did have a good effort and a good initiative. This is under the tutelage of Dr. Carla Serlin, and Dr. Besant was very much involved in it, although I didn't get a chance to meet her during that time. I'm here as a result of Janet Jackson down there. I have been found like you speak to. I would see Janet at every American Psychiatric Nurses Association conference I would attend. She would be there and she would see me and she'd call me over and she'd make me take a picture with her, and she'd tell me to take flyers, and she'd remind me that you were existing here. And so I started getting reconnected through Facebook and through her outreach. And I do feel found, and I feel like I want to give back some of my time to this group. I'm on my way out of the work world if I can make it very, very soon. That's what I'm looking for. But right now I work in a hospital. I work for a healthcare system doing things like bringing that whole suicide understanding outside of behavioral health to the acute care world, bringing a whole understanding about compassionate humanity care for people who are involuntarily hospitalized, bringing that from outside of behavioral health to the whole system, helping people understand that we're not seeing criminals, although you might see somebody in handcuffs. We're seeing people under civil commitments, and they have a right to treatment, a right to compassionate care. And I'm bringing trauma-informed care initiatives and approaches to the system of hospital care. There's a lot of barriers, there's a lot of negativity and doors between behavioral health and the rest of the hospital systems. You probably all know that. A lot of discussion about the ED surge and the ED overcapacity, and so a lot of not good friends in the acute care world. There's a lot of work that needs to be done back in the hospital systems. I have had my stint in academia from high school levels all the way up through college and universities, traditional white universities, historically black universities, research universities, Wake Forest University. I've been around the block a little bit. I've done a lot in nursing. You can't take any of the stuff that I gained from my experience of being a nurse. Sexual assault nurse. I'm an addictions nurse. I have an epidemiology background. I love bringing all that understanding together when I lecture. If I, have the mic, I talk too much. So I'm going to keep that in mind. But I bring a lot of information, and I want to share that now because I'm closing out, sort of the busy time of my life.
I met Samuel and Janet at our first Black Nurses Rock conference, and I remember hearing them talk about the need for psychiatric nurse practitioners. At that time, I was in an FNP program, but I didn't know. I knew I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. I knew I wanted to be a leader in nursing, but I didn't really know at that time. I didn't know what that would look like. So I thought about what they said to me, and I went back home, and I kind of looked around, and I didn't see anything in psych in my area. And I said, wow, it really is a need for this. And then personally, my mother suffered from mental illness, and so it was a huge passion for me to give back to this community. So it kind of answered my prayers in a way, because I always went into nursing with the thought and with the heart to really make a difference. And so it gave me a whole new drive and a whole new passion. I immediately transferred from ICU to a geropsych unit, and that's where I still am 3 years later. And the opportunities that I've gotten since meeting all these wonderful people at the Minority Fellowship program has just been amazing. And what I've taken away every year from the Institute, I just try to share it on social media. I know Samuel sees some of my stuff, and that I'm always posting. I posted yesterday right after I left. I called my husband and was explaining some of the things we talked about in our group today. And he was like, just enjoy it, just take it all in. I'm like, it's just so good. I wish it could be televised sometimes so that so many other people can get this information. I feel like, it's just too few of us being exposed to this.
When I got into the PhD program at FAU, even though it's in South Florida that is so diverse, most of the times I would be the only Black person in my courses. Sometimes I would jam up with somebody as I move along, one elective or so, but for the most part. And it felt very isolated and lonely. And sometimes you can see the body language, things not always said but implicit things. And so when I got into the MFP program, it was so refreshing, first of all, and I give God thanks for His favor. I see it as a privilege and an honor, and I feel like there was a purpose behind it for me to do something with this. But it felt so refreshing, and somebody talked today about empowerment, and for me, every time I came, and I think everybody's like saying the same thing, you come to a space where there are people who look like you, who have knowledge, and it's not looked upon as you're strange, but you can share the same feelings and the experiences in a safe space, and you're learning so many things. You're making awesome networking connections, and then you're going back with that strength, because we're separating from each other physically, and you're going back into your space where you are once again a minority, but you have that empowerment that keeps you, to go on until we meet again the next time. And for me, that was very, very empowering. It helped me with my self-confidence. With the work that I did, I always did well because of the exposure that I had, the things that I was learning. It was kind of beyond what I was offered in the program. So it was, it was sort of a gift of something extra that I had as a privilege, to do my work.
There was a comment earlier today about, had something to do with indifference and filters of indifference, and she spoke about the things that they do for others that they don't do for you. And so for me, the creation of this space and the reason why I come back to this space year after year is because I get that here. I get what I don't get at my institution here. In terms of being around like-minded individuals who I can relate to, who look like me, and who can relate to the experiences that I've experienced, that I don't have that space at my institution. I think I thrive to replicate the space I experience here at my institution for other minority individuals, but this is the model, this is the example that has been provided for me. Today we spoke a lot about gratitude, and I read something recently that said when you are experiencing gratitude, you actually can't really experience anything else. And so it's actually really important to be in a space of gratitude. And so being here puts me in that space. I do feel very privileged to have experienced that. I can truly say without this program, I would not be Dr. Bounds. This program encouraged me to get through. It was the support from this program, it was the camaraderie, it was the relationship and fellowship that really pushed me forward. And that's why I return as an alumni each year, because this space is very precious for me.
The things that we've gained from this, the support, the camaraderie, the family, the forging ahead in spaces where you really didn't feel like you could, and then being around people that showed you not only can you, but you can go probably even farther than you imagined for yourself, right? So, when you come and like I was saying the other night, you start out and you feel like you can't do this, there's no way you can do this, somebody has to have figured out a way to do it better, and what do they have that I don't have? And yet you come and we're here and we're together, and it's like, not only can you, but you will, and you'll do even more than what you anticipated. So to be around a group of people that always, even just before you have the vision of it for yourself, have a vision of something bigger and more for you, and being able to share that, and not just feel like people do it and they say it because that's what they're supposed to do, but people do it and say it and feel it and believe it because it's the truth, and that people are invested in you because right? There's nothing on the other side of it that says, I'm invested in you because you've done XYZ for me. They're invested in you just because that's the people that come into our program. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud and so grateful for that. And to hear the experiences of some of our more seasoned alumni, the things that they've had to go through and navigate in order to be in a space that, for me as a less seasoned alumni, that some parts of my journey were easier because of some of the travels of the alumni that have come before us. I'm so very grateful for that.
The thing I want to say about the Minority Fellowship Program, it was a smaller group. Now that I come here and I see the numbers that are graduating, you all are blessed that you have more people that can help you. We had a smaller number.
I think it's like 2 tables, if that.
Right.
1 table. I was remembering that. The room overwhelmed me too.
And then to hear about, your master's project, your master's thesis, or your doctoral dissertation, I think we're in the best community as a group of researchers. And when I got back to Columbus with that PhD, this white law firm. Now here I got a PhD in nursing. I get this call from one of the top law firms in the city. I'm like, why are they calling me? But I was in one of those rare numbers in that 1% of minorities with a PhD. It opened up all kind of doors.
Right.
Not only that, when I got back to my institution, I ended up on a delegation to China to lecture. Granted, I don't speak any Chinese, so they assigned me an interpreter. And I didn't realize in China, that I would be lecturing to doctors because nurses didn't get that training over there. But I can tell you that Doris, I've been to Peru. I'm in this little boat going down the Amazon River. How did little old me end up in South America, here or Peru and all these places? So the
It was the Minority Fellowship Program that provided that.
Opened the door.
Yeah. Very
What
good.
you came to learn, you came back equipped. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my 6th year since graduating from the program. And I was just telling my husband, I think it was last night or the day before, that if there is an organization or a group of people that actually had a impact in my career, it has been MFP. Number one, I didn't know how to speak properly. I didn't know how to write properly. I didn't know what research was when I enjoyed the MFP program. And for me, I think it has taught me confidence. It has taught me how to ask people, listen, excuse me, Dr. Grant, I want to take a picture with you. So you sit here, you sit there, John Lowe, and here we go, let's take a picture. Just because I think it speaks to empowerment. When you are around people that look like you, that have struggled like you, and understand your barriers to success, you become confident. And when you also know that they're there to support you, I am empowered when I see pictures of the previous alum, what they're doing, and it makes it real every single day.
I was saying I was going to be quiet, but then I said I can't sit and not say this. I was trying to think of the most precious thing we have in this world, so I was going to say the MFP is like sitting on a gold mine, or it's like having unlimited diamonds, but I see this program as something that truly is more precious than any natural resource that we could ever think of. This becomes an intellectual home for people, a cultural home, a social home, an outlet, a place of advocacy. And when we look at the supports that we have at our institutions, even if we've had the best academic experience and trajectory, there's nothing like being able to be in a room with leading clinicians, scholars, leaders, influencers, there's no other way. I think that we get this number of people together, coming together around that shared goal of increasing diversity in all aspects of the workforce and all aspects of, patient care, research, education. So I am so grateful and will forever be grateful to this program for setting me on the course that I'm on. I can say wholeheartedly, without a doubt, I would not be Dr. Bridget Bronner without the MFP. If nothing else, Dr. Urandi with the statistical support, literally for my dissertation to actually be completed. And I hope that as the program evolves, what it is never taken for granted, because it's very easy to say, oh, well, it's a fellowship program. Oh, it provides financial resources for people who are training in behavioral health. It's so much more than that. And one of the things I hope to be able to do and continuing as chair is to make sure that what we do is elevated, that other people who need this space, when I talk to people who are in their master's programs, their DNP programs, their PhD programs, and they quit, they give up because it either gets too hard in doing the work of it, or the people around them who are supposed to be helping them and mentoring and training them make it too hard. So I really hope for this, that in all that it has been, that it continues to be that and more, and becomes increasingly more visible. And I would love to do the statistics to be able to say, of the percentages of racial and ethnic minority nurses who hold DNPs, who hold PhDs, who have gone on to become psych NPs, what stamp does this program make in that, right? Like, what's the percentage that we've been responsible for training? And when we look at that percentage, the ripple effect that it has from that, both majority and minority students that we're able to encounter and encourage, it just has this exponential effect that goes beyond what any of us could ever see. And we've talked about Dr. Besant, we've talked about Dr. Gary, so we can think about individuals where it's been, more than a decade since they've been around, more than 2 decades, but their legacy still lives. And so I hope for each of us, as we sit around this table, that there is something that we do in and through this program, so when they have their alumni dinner, and it's 30 years from now or 60 years from now, they're reflecting back on what you did. They're looking back on the impact that you have. And so I thank all of you for your work. I thank you and I commend you for all that you do. Thank you, Lakeitra, for hosting and moderating tonight. And thank you, of course, to our program staff. You all are amazing, and I love y'all.
We love you too.